Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another War Thunder video brought to you by me, Draz. Today we are flying out in a realistic battle on Berlin, summer of 1945, but it's the alternative history map. So we're actually going up against a few Russians here, and we're going up against some Americans. You'll see that later on in the video. We're flying out in the F6F-3 Hellcat, naval fighter bomber for the US Navy. It is a rank 2 aircraft with a battle rank of 2.7. This one here, apart from its bomb load, is actually maxed out on all its upgrades, so it has a maximum speed of 640 kilometers an hour at 23,000 feet, and it has a max ceiling of 36,000 feet. It is fairly well armoured with 6 12.7mm M2 Browning machine guns, which have 2,400 rounds between them. As you can see here, I was at altitude, there was no one there, so I'm coming in to help some teammates that have actually got a few aircraft on them, and they're on them. I initially was a bit hesitant as to which one I wanted to go for. I wasn't sure, but it's here you'll see my first mistake. As I'm coming down, I'm looking at the 3 aircraft down here, but I'd actually missed the LA-5 that had sneaked up around the side, and then he comes in and gets a few shots in and actually does some damage to my fuselage and makes my engine pink, which is not overly good considering I've not got into combat and there's a few other aircraft down here. I pull out my combat flaps just to try and get some maneuverability around him, even though the Hellcat isn't the greatest for maneuverability, but luckily a teammate comes and takes out the LA-5 for me, so I don't have to worry about him on my tail. We're now chasing down 3 other aircraft, or 2 other aircraft rather, and a Yak-9 coming towards us. It's actually a Yak-9T. He becomes the main focus of my endeavours in this battle for the most part. So he's coming in, managed to go past him without getting any shots in. We've got an I-16 down there and another Yak-9. The I-16 just doesn't have enough elevation to get his machine guns onto me. I think it's 7.7mm machine guns he has. So we're going over the top, seeing what we can come down on. Weird camera angle there. So we've got the Yak-9. As I say, he's been a bit cocky here with his smoke going, so we're going to go for him, see if we can get some shots in. Okay, we are going to go for him at some point. Oh no, we're going to go for the I-16 first, the 18 Ishak. Coming in at too steep an angle, so I can't get any actual shots in because he turns in underneath me trying to go for my teammate and his P... No, that's not my teammate in a P-47. I was getting confused because I can see the distance there. But once again, we're just going to come up and we're just going to keep trying and boom and zoom in and help our P-47D. So, and our P-38, who looks as if he's just come into the battle now. So we are now behind the Yak-9T. Get a few shots in. Don't do any critical damage to him, but I have found out that when you're using 50 cal machine guns, see, you shouldn't have been doing that. He could have got some shots in there if he'd have been within range. With the 50 cals, you don't necessarily need crits like you do with the 20mm cannons on, say, the Spitfire, which I have been fighting. I have been reliably informed by Mags from Mags TV that as long as I'm getting shots in with these 50 cals, I'm going to do some damage. So I managed to get in another shot here, but don't quite have enough to get any more in. I'm actually going too fast. I possibly could have done a high yo-yo there, but when I'm in the heat of battle, because I'm still quite a new player, I don't always pick the best option. So I'm just using my superior speed over the Yak-9T. He has a speed of 70 kilometers an hour slower than I do, but he can get his max speed at a lower altitude, but due to the fact that he's dogfighting, he just doesn't have the energy retention to get away from me or do any kind of climbing. So I'm just coming in again, hopefully try and get some shots in. I do, but over the top, completely missing once again, but that's fine. As I said, I do have an energy advantage, so that's what I'll be using to try and take him out here. He just keeps turning inside me again, so we're just going to keep using my energy to go up I am starting to lose the energy though, so it will get to a point where he can probably start out-turning me if I'm not careful, but it looks like he is taking damage. He's not exactly moving very fast. I get behind him once again, get a few more shots in if I can aim. Okay, there we go, get a crit, take out his left wing, just follow him down to make sure he's going down, and that's the first aircraft taken out. I was wondering at this point whether I was going to go back into battle, but there's only 2 aircraft. We've got quite a number advantage over them, so I'm thinking that I probably don't need to actually be going in, and I can probably start heading back towards the base and go and land and see if I can get some repairs. And here I go, turn around, I'm going to head back to base. And in true Draz style, I do the normal thing of coming in too fast, overshooting the runway a little bit too much, having to turn the aircraft so I don't go down a bank, and flipping it so my repair took a little bit longer than normal, but that's fine. I'm not 100% sure what the aircraft that are left are. So I see the markers up here for the AI, and I think, okay, well, or not the AI as such, but you know, the objective aircraft. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll go and start taking those out and see what we can do. That's a friendly there, and we've got the PE Peshka is the enemy aircraft in the distance. We are winning on points, so we don't really need to get too excited, but then I do see pop up that Rescue kind of going after the Maestro G7, which is a B-25, and he does cause a bit of issues. The aircraft that's chasing him will get shot down. You can see he's putting some shots into him, but I don't know how much he's actually doing damage to him, because nothing's popping up to say that he's doing any critical or he's setting anything on fire. You see Plum Bucket in the distance, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's going to be a 3 against 1. But what I hadn't actually realised, with Plum Bucket being so low in his Spitfire, is that he's actually landed. All I can assume is that he's taken some critical damage but managed to put the aircraft down on the ground so that he doesn't crash and do more damage to himself on the way back. And as you can see there, the P-47D got taken out by the guns of the B-25, and this is my main fear now as I'm coming in, that the B-25 with his 8 guns if he's the normal J, and if he's the second B-25, I don't know what it's actually designated as, has 9 guns. And they're going to rip me apart if I do get too close and not careful. And I am going to take some hits as I'm trying to take it out. And I hadn't got to the point where I realised I was going over 600 miles an hour, and I hadn't registered it was going to be so difficult for me to actually shoot. And I nearly take out my own teammate there because I'm just shooting like a madman trying to get some shots into the B-25. You can see there the gunner's taking some pop shots at me, manages to make my wing go pink, but he's not causing too much damage. I use my superior airspeed over a bomber to come up over the top and loop around to come. I was trying to go vertically down on top of him, but I couldn't quite get that, so I'm going to have to come in at a certain angle, which he is going to get some shots in with his guns, but I managed to get a few hits in there, not thinking I've done too much. My left wing is now pink. I'm going to go up. And this is where we see that you don't necessarily have to do crits to really do some damage. So I got some hits in there, and then a crit pops up. His engine caught fire, and that's the last aircraft down. So ground force rescue. That's 2 kills, and not a bad game. I'm actually quite enjoying this aircraft. I've mostly been going for Spitfires and a British line, but I'm now coming to realise that the F6F-3 is actually quite a nice aircraft. So that's the end of the game. As you can see, I got Final Blow, we got Balancer, and we got Terror of the Skies. We got 3,825 RP, was on the ×2, and 31,030 credits. So it's not a bad game in total. And well on the way to getting our P39N. Well, that's been me, Draz, flying around in the Hellcat. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Farewell.